Hey everyone, welcome to Intro to R. This is a really big deal because this means that you've probably worked through at least most of the SSH key stuff that we were going through last week. And now we get to actually talk about RStudio and R and play around in it. So first off, I just opened up the project file that I personally cloned and saved on my desktop for my specific R Davis repo. So I have that open, and when I open that file, this is what my RStudio looks like. So we have three main boxes. We have this big box, which is the console, and this is where you can type code, you can ask R questions, you can do a lot of different things. So we'll play around with this in a bit, but I want to show you these other boxes first. And so we also have this environment box up here. So this is going to show all of the different data frames, objects, functions that you have written in your code. Ours is empty right now because we haven't done any coding yet, but it will populate as we move through this. The other tab I want to show is Git. And so I already have some things that I've been messing around with on here. And so this is where you can push and pull, and we'll have another video going over that. And then down here is where all of your files are. And this is a really important thing because it's basically telling R where it's located in the space of your computer. And it shows exactly what files are accessible to R. And this is called your working directory. And we'll talk more about this as we go through class as well. There's another tab here for plots, which is really handy. So if you plot anything, it'll pop up in this box and you can zoom in and look at it. You can export it. There's also a tab for packages. So this is really handy because right now we're just working in base R. So just kind of the basic framework of it. And once you start wanting to do more complex things in R, you'll have to download packages to give more information and functionality to R. So we will definitely go over that quite a bit throughout this course. The last one I wanted to show you was help. And so this is what it looks like when you first click on there. And so you can search any sort of function or package that you're curious about, and there should be some information on it. So one other box that I want to show you is when we go to add a new file, so you're going to go over to this white rectangle with the plus sign. So click on there and it has an option to add an R script. Great, this is what we want to do. And the R script is the space that you're going to be working in for a lot of this. And it essentially is like your console, but it's a way to save your code so that you can come back and use it again in the future. And so let's all save our script. I'm going to save intro to R. I think I already have a file, but that's okay. I'm just going to replace it. Great, so now we're ready to go through just a few of the different lessons regarding basic functions in R and how to just generally use this type of programming language. So, okay, great. We have R saved. I'm gonna populate with a couple of my notes. So first we're going to go through some arithmetic, and I think someone described R as being like an adult TI-84 last week, and this is really where that shows, or at least the start to it. And so yeah, you can do various functions like 1 + 1, R is able to do this. And one thing I just want to point out is in order to run each line of code, you can use a keyboard shortcut. You can do, if you're on a Mac, Option, enter, and it goes. I think if you're on Windows, it's probably like Command, return, and then it goes. You can also highlight and hit run up here. All of those work. So another question that comes up a lot is, do you need spaces or do you not need spaces? Does it matter? And it turns out that R does not really care about spaces. Now, this next one is super important as you learn to code, because there's going to be a lot of new information coming to you, and commenting is one way to remember why you're doing something the way that you're doing it. And so all of these magenta pieces of text are examples of comments or commenting. So simply you just add a hashtag and then you can write whatever you want to remember. And it's really nice to do this in an R script, save it, say you come back a week later, open the same file, and you're like, oh, why did I run this function? And then to have a message right there, like, okay, I ran this function because I was interested in taking the average of these numbers. So that's commenting. Some other things R knows how to do. It can do scientific notation. It can also do mathematical functions. So say we want to take the log of 3. It knows how to do that. You can exponentiate if you want. You take the square root. Yeah, lots of different options there. You can also nest functions. So say I wanted to take the, let's see, I want to take the log of square root of 4. Oops. Let's see what happens. Oh, this is a good mistake to go over. So I accidentally hit run and R is telling me, hey, look, you haven't closed out your parentheses. I have this, but I don't have a second parenthesis saying that it's closed. So when I know this because I look down at the console and I see that there's still a plus sign. So R is saying, okay, and what else do you want me to do? So now that I've closed this, I can rerun it and it works. There's also the option to do comparisons. So say, I'm really curious if 1 is equal to 1. And in fact, it is. And this is just all to show that equal is denoted by 2 equal signs. You can also ask R if 1 is greater than -1. It says true. What if I was interested in greater than or equal than 8? Then false. So these can be really helpful later on when you're looking at data and you're wondering if something matches or it doesn't match. There's a lot of cases that this could be used for. However, this is just a start, and feel free to play around in RStudio with different functions, different ways of commenting, various arithmetic functions that you are interested in exploring. This is a great place to start.